त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, in the last class we completed the 8th mantra, that is 8th shloka, Indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam. We read the whole bhashyam and all that. We also read the 9th shloka, just read, and then I also explained briefly. We will read the shloka again. Asaktir anabhishvangaha putradara gruhadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu. Okay, so here again, these are the qualities which we are seeing. These are all called, what are these called? Antaranga sadhanani. That is, these means which are going to be, these are all characteristic, the traits of character which are going to continue with a jnani. You see, jnana sadhanani yani tanyeva lakshanani. We know that formula. That is, whatever are the characteristics of a jnani, those characteristics are to be followed very sedulously by a seeker. So because they are the very means, and then by following that means they become natural to you, and then even after you reach that state of jnanihood, say, those characteristics will continue with you. So that is why they are called antaranga sadhanani. They become part of your character, they become part of your blood. So that is why they are called antaranga sadhanani. So we are seeing some more things. Altogether 20 such sadhanani have been told. We have seen some more are there in the next two shlokas. This is 9th and 10th shloka. With the 10th shloka, all the things are, 10th and 11th shloka, all the 20 will be completed. So this shloka is talking about asaktihi. I told you asakti means, that is absence of attachment. Then attachment to various general attachment to external objects. Then anabhishvangaha. The difference between asakti and anabhishvanga is, one is attached, normal, say, degree of attachment, let us say. And the other is excessive attachment, a sort of infatuation, a sort of, say, a sort of emotional dependence. So that is a sort of emotional or psychological dependence. So if it is not there, I cannot survive. So that sort of helplessness. So that is anabhishvangaha. In what? Putra dara gruhadishu. In things like children, then putra means putri also, by children, wife, house, various other things like that. Then nityam cha samachittatvam, that equanimity of mind when some good befalls you or when something bad befalls you, in both the things, ishtopapatti, anishtopapatti. Upapatti means something which is obtained. Upapatti, something which is attained, is upapatti. So ishtopapatti is some good befalls you. Anishtopapatti, something bad befalls. So that in both the situations, one is supposed to be equanimous. So that is, he is supposed to have that equanimity of mind. So this is what we read. Let us read the bhashyam. Asaktihi saktihi sanganimitteshu vishayeshu pritimatram tadabhavo asaktihi. So saktihi is explaining sanganimitteshu vishayeshu, in various objects which become the cause for attachment. So in all, sanga nimitteshu means they become the cause for attachment. Various things. For example, I need a pen, say I need a cell phone, I need a car, I need something else. So these are all things which are becoming, say, objects of attachment. So in those vishayeshu, priti matram. So just mere interest, priti matram, mere interest or mere, say, sakti, attachment. Tadabhavaha asaktihi. Asakti means absence of that attachment is called asakti. Then anabhishvangaha, abhishvanga bhavaha. Abhishvango nama sakti vishesha eva. Ananyatma bhavana rakshanaha.
bhavana lakshana.
Okay. Ananyatma bhavana lakshana means I am not different from this. Ananya atma bhavana. This is I am this. I am. If that is not there, I am not going to live. So something like that. That is Abhishwango nama Sakti Visheshaha. Sakti Visheshaha means excessive attachment. Excessive attachment. You can call it infatuation. So that sort of thing. So that Sakti Visheshaha, Sakti Vishesha eva Ananyatma bhavana lakshana. If this is not there, I cannot live. This is this. I am living in this, or this is I am living in this, and if it is not there, I am not going to live. I am this. So that sort of tadatmya bhava. That tadatmya is that the notion of tadatmya, that is notion of identification, is something is what is called ananyatma bhavana. Then he is also giving an example. Yatha anyasmin sukhini dukhini va
Anyasmin sukhini dukhini va
ahameva sukhi dukhi cha
ahameva sukhi dukhi cha
jivati mruteva
jivati mruteva
ahameva jivami marishyami cha
ahameva jivami marishyami cha
iti kva ityaha putradara gruhadishu putreshu dareshu आदिग्रहणाद अन्येष्वपि अत्यंतेष्टेषु दासवर्गादिषु okay. So anabhishvanga we say read yatha, he is giving an example. Anyasmin sukhini dukhini va. If somebody else is happy, I am feeling happy. If somebody else is unhappy, I am feeling unhappy. Anyasmin sukhini sati. This is sati saptami. Anyasmin sukhini sati ahamapi sukhi asmi. Anyasmin dukhini sati ahamapi dukhi asmi. So that is sati saptami. You know that. Anyasmin sukhini dukhini va. If he is sukhi, I am sukhi. If he is dukhi, I am dukhi. Then jivati mrute va. Jivati sati, mrute sati. This is also sati saptami. If somebody is living, I am living. If somebody is no more, I am also no more. So it is like that. Jivati mruteva ahameva jivami marishyami cha. So this sort of emotional say dependence. That is okay. Sometimes it may be infatuation. Sometimes it is just a feeling of identification. So in fact, our culture also brings up, our culture also basically determines or rather fosters or encourages a lot of this in you, because there is a lot of literature, say particularly among the lovers. If you are not there, I am not there. If you die, I am going to die. So something like that old Romeo and Juliet type of thing. So all this is encouraged by literature. Then regarding father and son, naturally there is a lot of literature. A lot of literature between parents and children, husband and wife. There is a lot of literature like that. So culture also fosters. But here we are not talking about that. We are talking about a seeker. We are talking about a jnani. So when you are about to reach that jnani state, or when you are in that jnani state, this sort of thing should not be there. Jnani has to look at everything. Jnani has to look at everything as say something to be loved. There is no object of hate for him. Everything becomes an object of love. So even the most dearest thing for him, otherwise in the Purvashrama, suppose something is the most dearest to him, in this ashrama, he loves it as equal to something else. So that should be the attitude of a jnani. So that is what we have to see here. So ahameva jivami marishyami cha iti. Where kwa ityaha. Kwa means where ityaha. That is he told putra dara gruhadishu. Putreshu, that is in the children. Putra means not only sons but children. Dareshu, daraha I told you in the last class, daraha is nitya bahuvachanam. It is always plural. Daraha, the shabda, the word daraha is always plural and it is also pumlinga. Dareshu, in the wives. Then adi grahanat, because of that word adi, putra dara gruha adishu, adi. What is the meaning of adi? Etc. etc. What is the meaning of that etc.? Etc. means anyeshvapi atyanteshteshu. Atyanta plus ishta. Atyanta ishteshu. That is whoever is very very close to you, somebody who has served you so well. Atyanteshteshu, he is also giving the example, dasa vargadishu. Dasa vargam. Dasa vargam is servants, etc. somebody who has served your family for 30 years or 40 years. So naturally there is an excessive attachment. So it is not that it should not be there. For an ordinary man it has to be there, but for a jnani it should not be there. For an ordinary man, he has to have that sort of gratitude. He has to show love and affection. All that thing has to be there. We are now talking of a jnani. For a jnani has to rise above all these things. So dasa vargadishu, then tacha ubhayam
तच्च उभयं
jnanarthatvat jnanamuchyate.
ज्ञानार्थत्वात् ज्ञानमुच्यते
Tachobhayam means tat cha ubhayam. Those two. What is that? Two asakti and abhishvanga. These two jnanarthatvat jnanamuchyate, because they are also the means for knowledge of self. So that is why they are called jnanam. Then nityam cha samachittatvam
नित्यं च समचित्तत्वं
tulyachittata
तुल्यचित्तता
kva ishtanishtopapatishu
इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
ishtanam anishtanam cha upapattayah
इष्टानाम् अनिष्टानां च उपपत्तयः
sampraptayah
सम्प्राप्तयः
tasu ishtanishtopapatishu
तासु इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
nityameva tulyachittata.
नित्यमेव तुल्यचित्तता
Okay. So nityam cha, nityam, always samachittatvam. So always samachittatvam tulyachittata. Tulya means same. Tulya means the same. Tulyachittata, that equanimity of mind, that is treating everything as equal. Shunichaiva shvapakecha pandita samadarshinaha. When is it possible? It is possible only when you attain a particular level of Shravana Manana, isn't it? Without having that particular level of the Shravana and Manana, you will not attain. It will be artificial. It will be artificial. You may be trying to treat everybody as equal and whatnot, but in the heart of hearts, you may be treating him as some sort of, say, untouchable or anything. So, but this samachittata is possible only when you attain some degree of, some higher degree in that Shravanam and Manana. So that is what we have to remember. So, say samachittatvam tulyachittata nityam, always it has to be there, means always you are conscious, always you are conscious of this, the lines like Tattvamasi Aham Brahmasmi, whatever is told in those Upanishads, you should be constantly aware of those lines. So only then it is possible. Then ishtanishta upapattishu. What is that ishtanishta upapatti? Ishtanam anishtanam cha upapattayah sampraptayah. Upapatti means samprapti. Samprapti means attaining. Samprapti. Samprapti are one and the same. Sam is only an upasarga. Prapti means pra plus apti. Again there is another upasarga. There are so many upasargas. Sam is an upasarga, pra is an upasarga, apti is an upasarga. Apti is the word. Apti means attainment. Samprapti. So this is attaining something which is desirable, something which is undesirable. In both these things, nityameva tulyachittata. Then ishtopapattishu na hrushyati. Your book says something different. Ishtopapattishu na hrushyati. Na kupyati cha anishtopapattishu. Tatcha etat nityam samachittatvam jnanam. Okay, when something is attained, something say desirable is attained, you don't get excited, you don't rejoice in that. Something which is good, something supposed to be good, normally supposed to be good. So something happens, so you don't rejoice in that. And something which is undesirable, which is coming, which is accruing, you don't grieve for that, you don't have, you don't feel sorrow about it. So, na kupyati cha. Kupyati means anger, kopa, the word kopa, na kupyati. It means he gets disgusted, he gets angry, he gets frustrated, so that sort of thing. So, anishtopapattishu, when something undesirable is attained or obtained, this man will not feel perturbed, this man will not get angry. So that is it. So this sort of samachittatvam is jnanam. So kincha, moreover, let us read the shloka. Mayi cha ananya yogena bhakti ravyabhicharini vivikta desha sevitvam Aratirjana samsadi.
Aratirjana samsadi.
So here again there are two things, three things which are told here. That is, Mayicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktihi Avyabhicharini. So, Mayi, let us see the words. Ananya Yoga is one thing. Avyabhicharini is another thing. Ananya Yoga. Yoga means getting attached to something, isn't it? Getting attached to something, getting yoked to a thing is yoga. Ananya Yoga means na plus anya, no one else. Attached to you and no one else, that is Ananya Yoga. Attached to me here, of course. Attached to me and no one else, that is what is called Ananya Yoga. Yoga is, just explaining the words, yoga is yoke. Yoke is yoga, isn't it? That is, say, to be linked up, to be associated with, or to meditate on, to be attached to. So, Ananya Yoga is to be attached to me only and to no one else. Then, Bhaktihi Avyabhicharini. Avyabhicharini Bhaktihi. Avyabhicharini, that feminine gender is used because Bhakti is a feminine word, feminine gender. Bhakti is in feminine gender, so that is why Avyabhicharini Bhakti. This Vyabhicharini word we know several times we have come across. V plus Abhi plus Chara, Vyabhichara. That is deviating from what is the existing position. So that is what is called Vyabhichara. Vyabhichara. Vyabhicharini means that which deviates like that. In feminine gender, that which deviates from what is prescribed. So that is called Vyabhicharini. Avyabhicharini means that which does not deviate. You see, one is Ananya Yoga. Ananya Yoga is possible when you understand, when you at an intellectual level, when you realize that this is the Supreme Brahman and beyond this there is nothing and this is the highest goal I have to attain. So that is Ananya Yoga. So when that awareness is there, when that understanding is there, that understanding will lead you to this Ananya Yoga. That is, it is at the level of Buddhi. So this is actually pointed out by one commentator. This Ananya Yoga is something which is related to intellect, and Bhakti is related to something which is a higher level, that is love, Preeti. Bhakti is more of a Preeti, isn't it? This understanding is at an intellectual level. Bhakti, you are showing love. You call it Bhakti Rasa. You don't call Karma Yoga Rasa or anything like that. Karma Rasa you don't say, any other Rasa you don't say, but you say Bhakti Rasa, isn't it? So Bhakti Rasa means where the mind is, where the heart is involved, where emotion is involved, where you are loving that say particular say thing, an object. So here, in this, who is this I is that Supreme say Brahman. In that Supreme Brahman, Ananya Yogena, that knowledge, say, with the knowledge that this is the supreme goal, it is possible only then, with the knowledge that this is the supreme goal, then you are yoked to that only. You will try to, even in ordinary society, you will try to catch the biggest fellow, isn't it? You will try to catch hold of the biggest fellow, not a small fellow. So like that, Ananya Yogena Bhaktihi Avyabhicharini, you understand now?
Yes.
Okay, this is a sort of Nishkama Bhakti. This is something where you are not desiring anything. Where you are desiring something, there again you are truncating that God. You are truncating that God and then you are asking Him, you are making Him a sort of a delimited person. You are making Him some sort of a person, a sort of personal God who has to give you some, there is a sort of give and take between you and Him. You offer prayers and He will give you some boons. So this sort of thing. So this is Avyabhicharini Bhakti. This is purely for a sort of Nishkama Bhakti. This is purely for purely to get rid of all these bad vasanas which are there in the mind. We read in that Bhakti Yoga chapter, the 12th chapter, in the beginning we had a discussion on what is Bhakti. Bhakti is said to be the best purifying agent. Bhakti is one agency which is, or one medium, which actually gets rid of all the bad vasanas. Because whatever you do, you are surrendering to God. So you can't do some bad thing and then you can't surrender that act to God. So naturally your actions will be purified over a course of time. So bhakti is a means to get rid of all these vasanas, bad samskaras. So it is supposed to be the best purifying means. So that is the picture here. So bhakti hi avyabhicharini. Then vivikta desha sevitvam. So vivikta means viveka, you know the word viveka means to distinguish, to separate. Something which is vivikta means something which is isolated. Something which is isolated, vivikta desha, something, a place which is isolated. So to stay in a place which is isolated, why? Because you should not get disturbed. You are reading about Ham Brahmasmi or Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Meanwhile, somebody comes and asks you to do some favor, or somebody comes with some other problem, or you have to go and somebody comes and quarrels with you. So you are supposed to go to a place where there is no quarrel with anybody, where there is no quarrel, where there is no possibility of quarrel. So that place is called Vivikta Desha. Vivikta Desha is an isolated place where you don't encounter any bad people. Then Aratihi Jana Samsadi. Rati means interest, attachment, interest. Rati, Ramadhatu. Rati means interest. Arati means lack of interest. In what? Jana Samsadi. In large gatherings. Jana Samsad. Samsad, you know. Sansad in Hindi actually means parliament or something like that. So you don't want to be a member of parliament or member of assembly. So it is not like that. Samsad is, Jana Samsad is a group of people. Of course, Shankaracharya is going to say what type of people. Suppose you are going for a satsang, are you also asked not to go to a satsang? It is not so. You please go to a satsang, because satsang is going to contribute to jnana. He is not talking about satsang, he is talking about some dussanga, not satsanga. Satsanga, the opposite of satsang is dussanga. Satsangatve, nissangatvam. And there the word dussanga is not there, but it is, the opposite is dussanga. So he is forbidding only the dussanga and not satsanga. So aratihi jana samsadi, lack of interest in going to such places. So if you are having that interest in going to all these say places, crowded places, the cinema halls, and then all some other places of entertainment and all these things, and then also partly doing some Vedanta study, it is not possible. So that is the point. So it is not a part-time affair, it is a full-time affair. Sevitvam. Sevitvam means seva. Seva means to be engaged in that. Sevitvam means to be engaged in that. Vivikta Desha Seva. Sevanam means not service exactly. Seva means to be stationed there. Depending on the context, we have to see the word seva, the meaning of seva. Seva, suppose he is a sevaka, we say. That means he is a servant. But here, that not in that sense. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam means you have to be in such a place. So in that sense, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. That is, you have to be interested in such place, having interest in such a place. So that is the meaning of Sevitvam there. Let us read the Bhashyam. Where is this question? Vivikta Desha Kincha Mayi. Okay, Mayi cha Ishvare Ananya Yogena Apruthak Samadhina Nanyo Bhagavato Vasudevat Paro Asti Ataha Sayeva No Gatihi Ityevam Nishchita Abhyabhicharini Buddhihi Ananya Yogaha Tena Bhajanam Bhaktihi Navyabhicharanashila Avyabhicharini Sacha Jnanam. Okay. So Mayicha, who is this I? Ishvare. Ishvara, of course, we are not referring to some Maya Vachinam Chaitanyam, we are referring to the Supreme Brahman here. Depending on the context, we have to see whether Lord Krishna is referring to himself, Krishna is referring to Supreme Brahman, or whether he is referring to Ishvara. So Ishvare, Ananya Yogena. What is Ananya Yoga? Apruthak Samadhina. Pruthak means separate. Apruthak, not separate. Samadhi, we know, Samyak Manaha Adhiyate Asminiti Samadhi, where you have to fix your mind, you have to concentrate your mind. So that is what is Samadhi. Apruthak Samadhina, how na anyaha Bhagavataha Vasudevat Paraha Asti. Apart from this Bhagavan Vasudeva, there is nothing beyond. Vasudeva, here again we have to take the etymological meaning. Vasanti Jaganti Asminiti Vasudevaha. Vasati Sarveshu Bhuteshu iti Vasuhu. So that meaning we have to take, not Vasudevasya Apatyam. Vasudeva's son is Krishna. Vasudeva, here we have to take the etymological meaning, that is philosophical meaning, that is all the universe, the whole universe exists in him. He exists in the whole universe. Vasati Sarveshu Bhuteshu Vasati. So that sort of, that meaning you have to take. So Bhagavatah Vasudevat na anyaha paraha asti. That is, apart from this Vasudeva, there is nothing else. The whole universe is nothing but this Vasudeva, the manifestation of this Vasudeva. So that sort of understanding. Whole universe is a manifestation of that Vasudeva. So with that understanding, Saeva no Gatihi. Gatihi means that is the goal. Gati means that is the goal. That is our goal. Ityevam Nishchita Avyabhicharini Buddhi. This sort of determined Buddhi, this sort of determination, let us say, this sort of determination is what is called Avyabhicharini. Then Avyabhicharini Buddhi Ananya Yoga. This sort of Buddhi, this sort of understanding, let us say, this sort of understanding is Ananya Yoga. Then Tena Bhajanam Bhakti. Tena Bhajanam. With that, you are associated with that. With that sort of understanding, you are associated with that, you are following that. So that is what is called Bhakti. Na Vyabhicharana Shila. So this Bhakti is not a Vyabhicharana Shila. So it is not in its nature. Sheelam means nature, character. Na Vyabhicharana Shila means it is not in its character, it is not in its nature. So that is what is Avyabhicharana Shila. Sheelam, you know, Shila, Telugu also we use the word. So na Vyabhicharana Shila Avyabhicharini. Okay. So then Sacha Jnanam. So that itself is called Jnanam. That sort of bhakti is called Jnanam. Then Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Viviktaha Swabhavataha Samskarena va. Ashuchyadibhihi Sarpa Vyagradivischa Rahitaha. Aranya Nadi Pulina Devagruhadibhihi Viviktaha Deshaha. Vivikto Deshaha. Tam Sevitum Shilamasya iti. Vivikta Desha Sevi. Tadbhavo Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. So Shankaracharya teaches a lot of Sanskrit also to us. He is giving explanation of this Tatshilya Ninihi, that Nini Pratyaya also he is telling about it. And then Sevitvam, the Bhava Pratyaya is Sevitvam. So all these things he is saying. Okay, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Viviktaha explained. Viveka is to isolation. Vichir dhatu. That is Vichir Prthak Bhave, that is the root. That is to make, to distinguish, to separate. So that is it. Vivikta, that is Swabhavataha Samskarenava. By nature it is something is an isolated place, or you have made it isolated. You have made it isolated. So that sort of Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. You may sit in your own room and keep a lock outside. So that is a Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. So that is Viviktaha Swabhavataha. Swabhavataha means naturally. Naturally it is an isolated place. Or Samskarenava. You have made it. You have created a place like that. An isolated, instead of isolated, secluded is a better word. Secluded. Say secluded place. Then how secluded from what? Ashuchyadibhihi. Any type of dirt, filth and all that. Ashuchi means dirt, filth and all these things should not be there. Then and also there should not be some other danger like Sarpa, Vyagra. In olden days, you are not talking about the present day environment. Shankaracharya is talking about those olden days where there all around there was some filth somewhere, and then if you go deep into the forest, there are some snakes, there are some tigers, etc. Sarpa, Vyagra, you know, tiger. Sarpa Vyagradibhischa Rahitaha, a place which is not affected by these snakes and then tigers, etc. Then Aranya Nadi Pulina Devagruhadibhihi Viviktaha Desha. Then what type of thing? Aranya. Aranya is a forest, a jungle. Rana means fighting. Aranyam, there is no fighting there, so that is why it is called Aranyam. Aranyam is a place where there is no altercation, there is no fighting, there is no quarrel. So that is why it is called Aranyam. Nadi Pulina Devagruhadi Bihi. Nadi is a river. You don't sit in a river. Nadi Pulina means the river bank where there is a lot of sand. Of course, nowadays all the sand is disappearing, but then in olden days we used to see a lot of sand in those rivers. So this Nadi Pulina means on those sand banks. in fact, if you have seen some old some places which are still unexploited, there will be some beautiful sandy beaches, say sandy banks along the river. There is a river, and there is a sand. When the river water comes down, then you get a lot of that sandy place where where there is some secluded place where there is a nice environment. Suppose you go to a place like Srungeri or some such place, you can see such thing. So there you feel like sitting there and then meditating. So such place is referring to such place. Or Devagruhadibhihi. Devagruha means temple. Devalaya. Instead of Devalaya, he is using the word Devagruha. Devagruhadibhisya Viviktaha Deshaha. So like that, they are isolated places. Tam sevitum Sheelamasyaiti Vivikta Desha Sevi. Vivikta Desha Sevi means, you must have heard of one Panini Sutram called Tajshilye Ninihi. Sevi, Guni, Sevi means Sevitum Sheelam Asya iti Sevi. Nich Pratyaya is called Sevi, Dhani, Bali, not Bali, Dhani is something different. Sevitum Sheelam. Sheelam, we are talking about the character, we are talking about the nature. So that sort of nature is there. So that is why he is called Vivikta Desha Sevi. And then that noun form, Tadbhavaha. The noun form for that is Sevitvam. That is that nature to be in such places. The nature to be in such isolated places is called Vivikta, secluded places is called Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Then that also is Jnanam Uchyate. Then Aratihi Aramanam. Where? Okay. Vivikteshu hi desheshu. Chittam prasidati yataha tataha atmadi bhavana vivikte upajayate ataha vivikta desha sevitvam jnanam uchyate. So he says vivikteshu hi desheshu. He means because. Why is he telling about Vivikta Desha? Because in such places, Chittam Prasidati. So Chitta Prasadana. Prasada we know. This word Prasada is again a very beautiful word. Prasada means Prakarshena Siddha. That is, the mind becomes tranquil. Siddha Dhatu, you know. Prakarshena Siddha. It becomes tranquil. It sits, it settles down. Settles down is a more accurate translation. The mind settles down. Prasidati. The mind settles down. Say that sort of thing. Settles down is a better word. I also will note down. So without any sort of say disturbances, without any sort of emotions in the mind settles down. It becomes tranquil, cool. So in such places only it is possible. So that is why Atmadi Bhavana Vivikte Upajayate. So this Atma Bhavana, this Atma Chintanam or Atma Anusandhanam, as we say, that Anusandhanam is possible in such isolated places where there is no disturbance from any quarter. So that is why it is called Jnanam. Then Aratihi Aramanam. Kwa Jana Samsadi Jananam Prakrutanam Samskara Shunyanam Avinitanam Kalahonmukhita Chittanam. Do you have this word also? You don't have it. So this is given in brackets here. So maybe in some Pathantaram it is not there. What is this? Avinitanam. We are here. Avinitanam Samsat Samavayaha Jana Samsad. Okay, Jana Samsad. He is defining that word Jana Samsad. What is that Jana Samsad? Aratihi Aramanam. Aramanam. Ramanam means Ramadhatu. Rama means to enjoy. Aramanam means not reveling, not enjoying such things. That is Aramanam. Arati means not enjoying, not finding any enjoyment in such a thing is called Arati. Qua where? Jana Samsadi. And what is that Jana Samsadi? Who are these Jana? Jana means people. What type of people? Prakrutanam, Samskara Shunyanam, Avinitanam. Prakruta. Prakruta is the opposite of Samskruta. Unrefined. Unrefined people. He is also explaining Samskara Shunyanam. So they are all people with some bad samskaras. They are all having some bad vasanas. They are not having the proper samskaras. So that is why he is saying Samskara Shunya. So there is totally, there are people with a bad samskara. Then avinītānām. Vinīta means humble. Naya dhatu. Vinīta means all people who are say gentle. Avinīta means the opposite of gentleman. Ruffians. Avinīta means actually a ruffian. This is a better word. Ruffians. Ruffian, you know. Ruffian, you know that word. Okay, avinīta. Vinīta means a gentleman. The opposite of gentleman is a ruffian. So that is it. Avinītānām. My book also says kalahonmukhita chittānām. Those who come and pick up quarrel with you. So that sort of people. Kalahonmukhita chittānām. Sansad samavayaha jana samsad. Samsad means samavayaha. Samavaya means a group. Samavaya means a group. Samavayaha jana samsad. So that is called jana samsad. Then na samskaravatam vinītānām samsad
विनीतानां संसत्
tasya jnānopakarakatvat atah
अतः
prakruta jana samsadi
प्राकृतजनसंसदि
aratihi jnanarthatvat jnanam.
ज्ञानार्थत्वात् ज्ञानम्.
So he is distinguishing this samskaravatam vinītānām samsad. Samskaravatam, that belonging to refined people. That is a Shashti Vibhakti. Samskaravatam, that belonging to refined people. Vinītānām, those gentle people, gentlemen, learned people, let us say, not merely gentlemen, but learned people. Sansad, Vinītānām sansad, tasya jnānopakarakatvat. Because we are not referring to that samsad of good people, because it is jnānopakarakam. That is because it is conducive for knowledge. Jnanasya upakarakam. That is, it is conducive for knowledge. Then ataha prakruta jana samsadi aratihi. That is lack of interest, lack of attachment to that prakruta jana samsadi. To say the groups of say all these rustic people. Rustic people sometimes may be good, but let us say ruffians, not merely rustic. Rustic may be good people, may be there, a villager, maybe a rustic man, but then he is a highly good person. We are talking about bad people. So, aratihi jana samsadi jnanarthatvat jnanam. Okay. Kincha, let us read this shloka. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etad jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha. So here he has completed all the say 20 gunas. So by this shloka all the 20 gunas come to an end. Etat jnanam iti proktam. All this is called jnanam. Atonyatha, something other than this. Anyatha, ataha anyatha means something which is not this. Something which is not this. Ataha anyatha, that is something which is not this. That all that is ajnanam. Ajnanam means it is conducive to ajnanam only, not conducive to jnanam. So that is it. All this, what all has been told hitherto are jnana sadhanani. Whatever is opposite to that is ajnanam. Ajnanam vai mrutyuhu. So that is that we know. Then let us see Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Adhyatma Jnanam. What is Adhyatma Jnanam? Adhyatma Jnanam is Adhi plus Atma, some relating to the self. Relating to the self means what is Atma, what is Anatma. So that Atma Anatma Viveka is Adhyatma Jnanam. And Nityatvam. Nityatvam is to be firm in that. It is not as though you just say think about it for some time, then you go out to see some to go for some outing, you go to some other place, you go and sit in a cinema hall, you go to some other place. It's not like that. So Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam, that is, you are brooding on that. Of course, Shankaracharya is going to give a beautiful example, beautiful word, Bhavana Paripaka Nimittam. That is, this Adhyatma Jnanam is theoretically known to you. When this Adhyatma Jnanam is theoretically known, unless you meditate on that, unless you ruminate, unless you brood over that, brooding, something like a hen brooding over its say eggs, something like a hen is sitting and brooding over its eggs, you have to brood on those ideas, you have to brood on those sentences, Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, all these things, and also all the logic that is associated with that. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana level is being talked about here. That Nididhyasana has to be a continuous affair, and it's not something which is an intermittent affair. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Probably Shankara Krishna, Lord Krishna might also have kept in mind all these Mimamsakas. Mimamsakas, they have got a theory that all this Vedanta Shastra Shravana is something which is not part and parcel of Veda. It is something which is irrelevant part of Veda. It is of course part and parcel of Veda, but then it is something which is the unimportant portion of the Veda. Just as we say yajna, rituals, etc., they are the stepping stones. They are for the purification of mind. Nishkama karma, etc., again are told in Upanishads. So all these things are told in Upanishads. So whatever is the final word of the Veda, we are taking. So they are not coming to the final word, they are more interested in this preliminary word only. So they are more interested in 10th class, they are not coming to the PhD level. So that is the way. So they have an idea that there is an adhikaranam in say Brahma Sutras, what is called Pariplavadhikaranam. Pariplavadhikaranam. Say there the context is like this. The Mimamsakas, they hold that all these say Upanishadic say stories, Yajnavalkya is there, or Bhrugu is there. Bhrugu goes to his father and then he asks him, okay, you tell this, or some other episode of some Satyakama Jabali, or this Yajnavalkya, he calls his wives and then he says, okay, I am going to distribute my property between you. So all these stories, these are things which have to be told some during the intervals. While doing yajna, while performing yajna, of course, for lunch and all that, there is a lunch break, there is a dinner break and all that. So in those break times, in those recesses or break times, this adhvaryu means this person who is actually conducting the yaga. There is a yajamani. Yajamani means it may be a king or somebody, he may be a rich man, he may be a king. There is an adhvaryu, somebody who is in charge of this yaga. So this man is supposed to tell these things, all these say Upanishadic stories and all these things at that time. So Pariplavam, they are called Pariplavam. So the Mimamsakas, they think that these are unimportant things. Yajna is the most important thing, and these are all just appendages. These are all appendages to that yajna. So that is what they think. So in that adhikaranam, the Mimamsaka contention is rejected. Mimamsaka contention is rejected and said, no, this is the Vedanta is the main teaching, and your say yajna, etc., it is the secondary, because this Adhvaryu is telling about all these things to Yajamani only to make him realize that what he is doing is at a lower level, and then he has to come to a higher level. So that is the point there. So that is what is proved there. So maybe Lord Krishna is keeping such thing in mind. So that is why he says Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. So it is not as though you suddenly during that Pariplava or during the intervals of that yajna, you just hear about it and then you forget about it. It is not like that. You are supposed to brood on this, you are supposed to meditate on these ideas. That is Nityatvam. That is, you have to be continuously at it. That is in a very sustained manner. Then Tattvajnana Artha Darshanam. Tattvajnana Artha Darshanam. Tattvajnana is, say, what is the Shravana? In other words, what do you know by Shravana? That purpose, Tattvajnana Artha. Tattvajnanasya Artha. Artha means purpose. Tattvajnana Artha. That is the purpose of that Tattvajnana. Darshanam. Darshanam means meditating on that, thinking on that, or say you have to realize the purpose of that Tattvajnana. What is the purpose of that Tattvajnana? The purpose of Tattvajnana is not to say get a degree, is not to brag about, yes, I have read all these Upanishads and all that. It is to realize Brahman, isn't it? The purpose of Tattvajnana is to realize Brahman and not to get a degree or not to brag about, isn't it? So that is what is that Tattvajnana Artha Darshanam. Artha is Prayojana. Prayojana is purpose. The purpose of that say Tattvajnana has to be realized. Tattvajnana Artha Darshanam. So Etat Jnanamiti Proktam. All this, Etat means this. This means not only this particular point, but all this which has been talked about earlier in the last 5 shlokas, all this is called jnanam iti proktam. Proktam means it is told, it is said. So Lord Krishna is also saying it is something which is a knowledge which is coming down from the Vedas, and in that Shruti Parampara it is coming. So it is proktam. Ajnanam yad ataha anyatha. Ataha anyatha. Ataha anyatha means something other than this. Ataha anyatha. Ataha means Panchami Vibhakti. That is ataha. That is something other than. Something different from anyatha. That is ajnanam. This is all that has to be called ajnanam. So is the shloka clear? Okay, let us read the bhashyam. Where is this? Okay. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam
अध्यात्मज्ञानित्यत्वम्
आत्मादि विषयम ज्ञानम अध्यात्म ज्ञानम
आत्मादिविषयज्ञानम् अध्यात्मज्ञानम्
तस्मिन् नित्यभावो नित्यत्वम
तस्मिन् नित्यभावो नित्यत्वम्
अमानित्वादीनां ज्ञानसाधनानां
अमानित्वादीनां ज्ञानसाधनानां
भावना परिपाक निमित्तम.
भावनापरिपाकनिमित्तम्.
Okay. So you see, bhavana paripaka. Bhavana paripaka. Have you, if you have some knowledge of Ayurveda, they talk about what is called bhavana. Bhavana. They say this medicine, this has to be done. Bhavana has to be done for this. Bhavana is, so they prepare a compound, they grind it and then prepare a compound, and then it has to be kept for, say, heated, and then it has to be kept for some time in a particular manner, in order to ensure that it attains certain characteristics, because some sort of reaction takes place and then this medicine becomes say really effective. So that is what is called bhavana. Bhavana means to prepare a medicine, to prepare a compound and then make it ready, make it effective. So that is bhavana paripaka. Paripaka means maturity. Pakam, you know, pachadhatu. Pachadhatu means to cook. Paripaka means well cooked. That is well mature. So paripaka is very well mature. So bhavana paripaka means, here we are not talking about Ayurveda medicine, we are talking about bhavana. Bhavana means this all this Ravana which you have done, all this Ravana you have done, and Mananam, all this Ravanam and Mananam, that has to get a paripaka. Paripaka means it has to reach a level of maturity. So just right now mango season is over. So the mangoes, what we were doing, we were getting the mangoes and putting them in some basket where some grass is also, some grass also is kept. So in order to give it some warmth. So like the brooding by a hen. So this warmth makes these fruits ripe. So when you see the fruit, then you will see whether it is ripe or not. If it has become yellow, you will realize that it has become ripe. If it is still green, you know that it is not ripe. So this bhavana paripaka has to take place like that. So all your thinking, that is Ravana and Manana, has to mature. So that is what is called bhavana paripaka. So for that bhavana paripaka, what are we supposed to do? That nityatvam is important. Nityatvam, that is, you are supposed to brood on those things. You are not supposed to just just for half an hour or so you just see this and then you get into your routine business. That is not conducive. But this paribhavana, for this bhavana paripaka, for this maturity, for this incubation, let us say, something like an incubation period, something like an incubation, you have to be constantly at it. So let us see this line. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam is atmadi vishayam jnanam adhyatma jnanam. That is adhyatma jnanam, as I said, is relating to atma. It is relating to self. Tasmin nityabhavaha nityatvam. Nityabhavaha means to be at it always. That is what is called nityatvam. And what is that nityatvam? Amanitvadinam jnana sadhananam bhavana paripaka nimittam. So we have seen about this jnana sadhanani. What are they? Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, etc., etc. we have read. So all those things, they have to mature in you. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, etc., etc. It is not something for say one day you are practicing amanitvam and the very next day you have forgotten about it. So all these things are supposed to be cultivated, consciously cultivated, and then you have to be stable in that. So for all these things there is a maturity period. So for all these things have to mature properly. So for that maturity, you have to constantly brood on them. So that is the point. ज्ञानसाधनानां भावनापरिपाकनिमित्तम् ओके देन् तत्त्वज्ञानं
तत्त्वज्ञानं
तस्यार्थो मोक्षः
तस्यार्थो मोक्षः
संसारोपरमः
संसारो परमः
तस्य आलोचनं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनं
तस्य आलोचनं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम्
ओके तत्त्वज्ञानं तत्त्वं you know tattva means the thisness the reality of a thing the truth about a thing the nature of a thing is tattvam tattva-jnanam tasya artha moksha tasya artha means the purpose of it is moksha tattva-jnanam means whatever you have learned by shravana and manana so that is the purpose of it is moksha so that you have to realize that realization is tattva-jnanartha darshanam darshanam means to see drushi dhatu you know that seeing so samsara uparamaha what is the meaning of moksha samsarasya uparamaha that is the cycle of transmigration comes to an end uparamaha uparati and uparama are one and the same thing that is samsarasya uparati takes place there so that is the wheel of that cycle of transmigration comes to an end by realizing that you are the Brahman that by realizing that you are that undying consciousness so that is the end of that samsara then tasya alochanam tattva-jnanartha darshanam so thinking about it or meditating on that is tattva-jnanartha darshanam then tattva-jnana phalalochanehi
तत्त्वज्ञान फलालोचनेहि
tat sadhanaanusthane pravrutti syad iti
तत्साधनानुष्ठाने प्रवृत्ति स्यादिति
okay only it is only when you know it is only when you realize it is only when you think about this tattva-jnana phalam only then you will know your mind will move towards that if you do not know what is the use or what is the purpose then your mind will not be attracted to that so that is what it is tattva-jnana phala alochanehi because it is only when you think about that it is only when you realize the fruit of that thing only then your mind will go for that sadhana anusthana means implementation following that path is anushthanam so pravrutti syad means that pravrutti or your activity will be there in that direction only when you know about its value if you do not know about its value you will not go in that direction then etad amanitwadi tattva-jnanartha darshanantam
तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनान्तम्
uktam jnanam iti proktam jnanarthatvat
ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तं ज्ञानार्थत्वात्
okay etad all this what is all this amanitwadi means start amanitva adi means beginning from amanitwadi beginning from amanitvam then tattva-jnanartha darshanantam antam means end tattva-jnanartha darshanantam means ending with this tattva-jnanam so that is beginning with amanitvam and ending with tattva-jnanartha darshanam all these things whatever is uktam whatever has been told that is jnanarthatvat because that is conducive for jnanam then ajnanam yadato asmad
यदतो अस्मात्
atho yatoktat
यथोक्तात्
अन्यथा विपर्ययेण
अन्यथा
विपर्ययेण
विपर्ययेण
मानित्वं दम्भित्वं हिंसा क्षान्तिः
मानित्वं दम्भित्वं हिंसा क्षान्तिः
अनार्जवम् इत्यादि
अनार्जवम् इत्यादि
अज्ञानं विज्ञेयं परिहरणाय संसारप्रवृत्तिकारणत्वात् इति okay ajnanam yadatonyatha that is being explained yad ataha means asmat from this whatever is different from this ataha is from this yad ataha asmad yathoktat means whatever has been said from whatever has been said anyatha if something different from whatever has been said viparyayena means viparyaya means something contrary viparyaya is something contrary viparyayena something contrary whatever has been said what is that the opposite of amanitvam is manitvam that is say having a great sense of great sense of ego then dambhitvam bragging about and then being highly hypocritical so then himsa akshantihi anarjavam so himsa akshanti means lack of forgiveness. Then anarjavam. Anarjavam means lack of that straightforwardness, that is being crooked. Anarjavam. Arjavam is straightforwardness. Anarjavam is crookedness. All this is ajnanam vijnayam. It has, all this has to be understood. Vijnayam means it has to be understood. Ajnanam vijnayam means it has to be understood as ajnanam. Ajnanam is ignorance. It, all this has to, is only contributing to ignorance only. Why is it called ignorance? Because samsara pravrutti karanatvat. This is the cause for this samsara pravrutti. The samsara will continue to be there, and then it has to be rejected. It has to be got rid of. So that is why vijnayam pariharanaya. Parihara means to reject. Pariharanaya. In order to reject, all these things has to be known. Then there is an avatarika for the next shloka. Yathoktena jnanena
यथोक्तेन ज्ञानेन
ज्ञातव्यम किम इत्याकांक्षायाम आह
ज्ञातव्यं किमित्याकांक्षायाम् आह
ज्ञेयम यत्तद इत्यादि.
ज्ञेयं यत्तदित्यादि.
Okay. Yathoktena jnanena. So with all this jnanam, what all has been told, all this jnana sadhanani etc. Jnatavyam kim. What is it that you are supposed to know? So for that is being told. So that is what that is being told. Kimityakankszayam aha gyeyam yattat. Then the next shloka, the avatarika continues. Nanu yama niyamascha amanitvadayah na taihi jnanam jnayate na hi amanitvadi kasyachid vastunah parichedakam drushtam. So when this Siddhanti said, or when this avatarika started, Yathoktena jnanena jnatavyam. With all this thing jnanam, there is what is called jnatavyam. You have to know something. Then there is a small doubt. Nanu, you are calling that amanitvam etc. You are calling this jnanam. How is it jnanam? The same question earlier it was also discussed. It is now slightly elaborated. Nanu yama niyamascha amanitvadayah. So what is, where do you classify them? Where do you place them? Amanitvam, adambhitvam, etc., ahimsa, shanti. Where do you classify them? All these things are under yama and niyama. You know those two words, yama and niyama. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, in this ashtanga yoga, this eight steps. Suppose it's a ladder. In that ladder of 8 steps, the first 2 steps are yama and niyama. Isn't it? So this yama and niyama is basically physical self-restraint. So he is pointing to that. In that 8-fold ladder, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, all these 4 are actually belonging to the body. A conscious controlling of the body. You are consciously controlling the body. Then pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, it is something relating to mind. In fact, pratyahara also, it is something which is relating to the body only. The first 5 relate to the body, the last 3 relate to the mind, control of mind. So all these things, they fall under the category of yama and niyama only. Then how is it that you are able to, you are saying that they are the jnanam? Na taihi jneyam jnayate. By those things, jneyam is not known. Jneyam jnayate means whatever is that jneyam. Still we do not know what is that jneyam. So that is what Purvapaksha is saying. We still do not know what is that jneyam. So by this yama and niyama alone, that jneyam is not known. Then nahi amanitvadi kasyachid vastunah parichedakam dushtam. So these amanitvam etc., they are not being parichedaka. Parichedaka means, parichedakam, you know. What is parichedakam? You know parichinna. Parichinna means that which has been delimited, isn't it? Parichedaka means that which delimits. A pot is a parichedaka, isn't it? A pot is a parichedaka for what? It can be a parichedaka for water, it can be a parichedaka for grain, it can be a parichedaka for air, that is space. For whatever it is, whatever you put in that, it becomes a parichedaka for that, isn't it? You know, we have heard about this pot space, room space, etc., ghata akasha, mata akasha, etc. What is ghata akasha? Akasha which is delimited or which is parichinna. Delimited is parichinna. It is delimited as though looking delimited by this say pot. So pot becomes the parichedaka, that is the delimiter, let us say, or definer. So a defining, let's say, defining the nature of a particular thing, that becomes a parichedaka. So whereas that what the Purvapaksha is saying is, nahi amanitvadi, this amanitvam etc. kasyachid vasunaha na parichedakam dushtam. So it is not defining anything. So I'll explain it in the next class. Now that time is over, we'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.